Let me ask you this. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 equals yes. Can you trust your husband? Scale of 1 to 10. 10, can you trust your husband? 10 is yes. Put it in the chat. Can you trust your husband? Today, I am going to be giving you a safety checklist, a checklist that I want you to share with your husband. So share this video with your husband, save it, share it, because these are 8 things that need to be done before you can fully trust him again. This is a go-to video that you're going to want to go through and make sure that these things are being checked off. So if you answered yes to I can't trust him, keep watching because trust doesn't return through logic and through talking. It returns when the body feels safe again and your nervous system feels safe to do so. So I'm Beth Miller. Welcome to this video. If you are part of the Facebook group, feel free to add the comments below if you can trust or not, scale of 1 to 10. If you are in the YouTube channel, feel free to like and subscribe so that you can continue to get these videos. Stay to the very end. I have a little gift for you. Put the word chat, CHAT, and I will gladly send you some strategies on how to rebuild trust with him that go beyond this video. I will learn a little bit about what you're struggling with most: trust, communication, ruminating thoughts, and I will give you some go-to strategies based on what you're going through. I may ask a little bit about his behavior, his communication style, the relationship dynamics so that I can get you some more wins. Like I said, I'll be doing these videos weekly, so make sure you like and subscribe so that you can continue to get all the tips. And also what happens is a lot of women are suffering alone right now. Many women do not share this information with anyone. So by liking it or subscribing, what it does is it tells the algorithm, you know what, send this out to other women who are struggling too, struggling and only have their husbands to talk to and maybe their therapists. So back to today's topic. 8 steps that you need to take so that you can trust him again. Like I said, you're going to want to share this video, save this video, share it with your husband. So let's dive in. The safety checklist that your nervous system needs before you can trust him again. I'm going to give you 7 things. 7 things. I think I might have said 8, but at one point I had 8, but I switched it down to 7. So 7 steps that you need to take so you can trust him again. And number 1, this is not always the most conventional one that people would suggest, but I'm actually saying take a break from talking it through. Your husband might be like, "Oh, Beth, you're the best. We don't have to keep talking about it." Pause. There's still 6 more steps in this, but talking often is praised for the cure for everything. But after betrayal or deep hurt, constant processing can keep your body stuck in threat mode. Every time you're recapping, asking questions about what's going on, your heart starts to skip, your heart feels heavy, your stomach sinks, your muscles tense, your body goes into a really difficult space. The brain just kind of keeps scanning for danger, thinking and processing, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. It's like picking a wound and wondering why it won't close. So, for example, you sit down just to have a check in, right? And suddenly it's another 2-hour conversation and it's later into the night. You're exhausted the next day. You're talking about not just what he did, but why you're hurt. It feels like you're going in circles. And what your system needed was a check in: simple, silence at times, normalcy, feeling connection, feeling love is what it needed. Moments where the marriage wasn't under interrogation. And so making sure that your timing when you're having these, in the Gottman method, they'd call it state of the union. When are we having these big meetings versus these little check-ins? So really setting those boundaries with yourself. So healing doesn't always sound like talking. It needs to sound like safety. So your husband may like that one because it doesn't involve a lot of talking. It involves more of that connection. But your body may feel not safe to have that connection, but having him present would be important. Okay, number 2, this is where the husband really has to get involved. Predictability, not grand gestures. And so what your body needs to know is what is coming. That's trust, predictability. My trust formula is trust equals consistency plus time. Consistency, predictability. Trust equals consistency, predictability plus time. And so it's not like you need flowers, trips, a big apologies, but your nervous system doesn't want that intensity. What it wants is to be soothed by consistency, soothed by predictability. Trauma wires the body from fear that something's going to change and something's going to happen. So what it needs is the opposite. It needs routine. It needs same tone, calm tone. It needs the same follow through. It needs a feeling to be there. So he doesn't want to hear things like, "I'll change, I swear." What your body wants is that he's coming home when he says he's gonna come home, that he's texting you when he's running late, that he sends you a message that he's thinking of you, that he responds in a tone that's calm, sincere, and feels good each and every day, even during difficult conversations. Your body relaxes when life becomes boring again. You hear that? When life becomes boring, your body will relax. Predictability tells your nervous system, I can stop racing. Okay, number 3. Share this one with your husband as well. Proof over promises. In order to be able to trust, check this one off. I need proof over promises. Your body is asking you So your body what your body is asking is, "Show me, don't tell me." So after betrayal, words lose their power. Like, "I don't believe you." "I love you, I'll never do it again." It feels nice, but it doesn't your body doesn't know your nervous system doesn't always believe it. Your subconscious like, I don't know. Does it feel like you loved me when you lied to me for so long? It doesn't feel like I can trust you. So I love you. I'll never do that again. You can trust me." Your nervous system hears that might not be true. Trust is built somatically. When I say somatically, soma is the body. So somatically, your body needs to feel it through repeated, observable experiences. So, for example, he doesn't just say he's going to be transparent. He is without speaking. You can feel it. There's no defensiveness. You're not seeing eye rolling. You're not hearing sighs. Why are we still talking about this again? Your body keeps score. There's a book on that. Um, just like your mind will too. So it's very important that there's proof over promises, consistency. Number 4, emotional repair over conflict. So there's conflict, but there has to be time for the repair. This has to happen. And so what your body fears is this will never be fixed. We're never going to get over this. We're never going to be able to solve this. I'll never be able to get over the betrayal trauma. He'll never be honest. You hear this never, never worst case scenario, all fear driven. So what the body fears is that this will never be fixed. Conflict destroys safety, destroys it. When things aren't repaired, that destroys the safety. So when arguments end with stonewalling, withdrawal, whatever, cold silence, the nervous system learns disconnection is permanent. We're never going to fix this. So you argue in the morning, he leaves for work without a word. Your body stays tense all day. What it needed to look like is, I shouldn't have shut down, is what he should say. We didn't end that well. Can we come back to it? You need him to repair. You need him to put that bid in to repair with you. Those words of connection. I'm sorry I did this. Let's talk about this later tonight, and I will take ownership for what I did. I'm still here for you. We are trying, and we did not do that perfectly. Let's try again. So, even imperfect repair teaches your body that we can try again. So, that's a really good one, too. So, emotional repair is so important. The bid for emotional repair. We need to try this, to do this again. Number 5, space to heal. Yes, even for him, both of you need this. So on the checklist, so here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot heal while constantly monitoring the source of pain. So what I mean by that is your nervous system needs space. It needs to detach. It needs to regulate. And when it's consistently connected to the source of pain, talking about the betrayal, it's hard. So you need time alone. You sometimes need fewer check-ins. You need to process things on your own, what your feelings are, what your questions are, what you need to know today for your healing, and then presenting that. Because sometimes when you start processing that inner dialogue with him, it can turn into a lot. So sometimes you need to step away and do some on your own, and he needs to do that as well. Taking notes, but figuring out what it is that I need to come to you with today. So instead of spending evenings replaying his behavior in your head, go for a walk, sit silently, put some music on, just journal. Conscious stream of writing is one of my favorites. You're not avoiding the marriage, you're teaching your body how to feel safe again with yourself. And then my next one here, number 6, being heard without his defensiveness. Tell him this one as well. What your nervous system needs is, I am safe to speak. I am safe to speak. I'm safe to say what I need to say, even if it's wrong. I'm safe to say whatever I say, even if it's intense. Defensiveness tells your body this is dangerous territory. And so when he starts to shut down, reactive, your body says, danger, this is not safe. His eye rolling, his interrupting, his explaining instead of listening, even his subtle reactions can shut your system down. It's like, why am I doing this again? Why am I doing this? So you share something vulnerable. He says, why are you always bringing this up? Why are you not over this? We've talked about this. I told you I don't remember. Your body learns silence is safer, or this isn't going to work. Builds another wall, right up. So true safety sounds like, I hear you. It doesn't mean he has to agree. I hear you. I understand. That makes sense. Tell me more. Pause. Those simple statements is what he needs to say to you. He's not fixing, he's not justifying, he's just present. All right, number 7, calm And not constant monitoring is another checklist for rebuilding trust. Your body is saying, I'm tired of being on guard. Like, honestly, a wall. I do so many client sessions where they have walls around their heart. They can't let their husband in. And your body is just tired of being on guard, checking his phone, watching his tone, maybe analyzing social media pages of the affair partner, analyzing his pauses, just watching his subtle moves. Hypervigilance is protection, but your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. So trust doesn't grow through constant surveillance. It grows through regulated calm. Trust equals consistency plus time. Instead of scanning for threats all day, you're focusing on grounding yourself, tuning into your body. What do I need today to carve out those small moments of peace? This isn't denial, not talking about it, not thinking about it. It's teaching your nervous system that I can relax. I need to stay present. I need to surrender. If you believe in God, higher power, the information I need to know will come to me. Do I need to know this today for my healing? So you don't have to wait forever to trust him again. These simple steps will help. Rebuilding doesn't have to take years. You don't have to sit around anxiously waiting for him to prove himself for your body to catch up. The nervous system is smart, but it's also deeply habitual. So we want to be able to break those habits. It can easily be conditioned to stay on high alert. And this can be from childhood programming too, that your nervous system's used to people abandoning me, hurting me. So this is where hypnosis comes in. Hypnosis works directly with the subconscious mind. I'm a certified hypnotist, a marriage coach, founder of the Marriage Saver program, and I work with my wives. It's the secret to healing from betrayal trauma. It goes so much deeper. It's different than EMDR. I think it's better than EMDR. I've done EMDR. It's great. It's probably the closest second. Brain spotting right there, kind of closest second as well. But hypnosis has a way of going directly into the movies that we play in our head. Like, you can see the movies, you can see the Polaroid images, and it goes to where the thoughts, the beliefs are stored, puts your brain in edit mode so that you can free yourself of it. In a safe, guarded state, your nervous system can experience safety like it hasn't before, can feel the exhale, it can let go, it can repair what's been there for years, even from childhood years or from the betrayal. In other words, hypnosis doesn't force you to wait for him to change the circumstances. What it does, it allows your nervous system to start to trust again. It accelerates your healing process because you're not just talking about it. And you can then reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your husband sooner. Trust, you have to trust yourself is part of this too. I trust my intuition. I trust my ability to make decisions. I trust my emotions. I trust myself so I can trust him. So, guiding your nervous system back to safety, helping wives reclaim trust in their marriages is exactly what I do. Through my program, I have lots of them. I have my 12-week intensive programs. I have my group marriage saver programs. I have my 6 weeks infidelity support groups. I teach women how to trust themselves, to trust their husbands again, how to get rid of those burned in images that they just can't stop thinking about, whether intimate with their husbands, those images are coming up, or whether they're just coming out of nowhere. I help wives do that. And here's the part that matters the most. Every single client I work with has experienced this transformation. I've gone from clients feeling so anxious, disconnected, so sad, to feeling joy again in their lives, to feeling peace in their life. And so I focus on real measurable change in 12 weeks. I don't want to see my clients once a week for months and months and months and months and months. I want to dig into it and get rid of it so you can get your happiness back. So take the first step towards healing. Feel free, put the word chat below. I'm happy to get on a call with you. I'm happy to give you some strategies, 15 minutes. I'll ask you, or I'll ask you about how, um, your situation with your husband, what's his communication style like, what are you struggling with most, trust, rumination, um, just overwhelm, what are you struggling with most? And I have a way of taking what's really messy and distilling it down into exact measurable next steps. So just a quick disclaimer, this video is not for diagnosing yourself or your partner. It's for educational purposes only. I am not here. I'm I am a qualified certified hypnotist, but here I am just here to share information with you, guidance that you can use potentially towards your own marriage. So feel free, join the support group, the infidelity support group. I'll put the link below. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Put the word chat and help you to set up a call with you. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.